Hello, Christine Halsey here, and today we're going to look at parallel resistance. This is Lab 1, Calculations and Measurements. Parallel resistance. We find parallel resistance by using conductance. Conductance is the reciprocal of resistance. Resistance is the reciprocal of conductance. They have a reciprocal relationship. Conductance was originally measured in mhos, and the upside down ohm symbol was used. Now we use Siemens uppercase S. Something to keep in mind when finding parallel resistance is that the total should always be smaller than the smallest resistor that you're using. The inverse of the sum of the conductance is the total resistance here. So to find the total conductance, you take conductance 1 plus conductance 2. To find conductance 1, it's 1 over resistor 1. And that gives us 454 microsiemens. G2 is 1 over R2, which is 3.3K, and that gives us 303 microsiemens. For the total, we add those two together and get 757. That's a misprint. Should be microsiemens, not millisiemens. It's correct on the next line when we're finding RT, 1 over GT, which in this case is 757 microseconds. 1 over that gives us 1.32 kiloohms. That's smaller than 2.2K, so we're in the ballpark. Another way we can find it is by using the 1 over formula, 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2. It's the same formula as above, we're just solving for the conductance in the equation. The reciprocal formula will work with any number of resistors. This method, product over sum, will only work with 2 resistors. So we take the product of the 2 resistors divided by the sum of the 2 resistors, and we end up with the 1.32 kiloohms. If we have 2 equal value resistors in parallel, then the total resistance will be half the resistor value. The current here would be 10 over 10K, which is 1 milliamp. If you have 3 equal resistors in parallel, then the total resistance 1/3 of that value. 4 equal value resistors, 1/4. 5 equal value resistors, 1/5, and so on. Now let's look at hooking this up on the breadboard and measuring the total resistance. Okay, here I've set up to measure my 2.2K resistor, which is red, and it's coming in at 2.167. I'm now set up to measure my 3.3K, which is orange, red, and it's coming in at 3.268. Okay, here I've set up my 2 resistors in parallel, and I could have just connected them into the same columns together, but for measurements it's going to be easier this way. And I've hooked up my meter to measure my total resistance. Notice nothing else is applied to the board. If I have power or anything applied to the board, this will not work, so make sure it's clear. And I'm measuring 1.3 kiloohms total resistance.